Who's the best movie reviewer through and through? That's Movie Mania on YouTube. That's who. Why don't you stay a while and have your life reviewed?
Hello, everybody. It is Matt, and it is Fiendish Friday, and I am back at you with yet another review. Before I roll on to any of that, I want to wish each and every one of you a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk, all that lovely stuff, because life really is too short as is. Do me a really huge favor and like, share, and subscribe. I love seeing your beautiful faces when you are here. I know I'm here an awful lot, but I have an awful lot on my plate to review. And one last little tidbit of info. Check out the description box. I give you a bigger bite of every single movie of every single day. Such as today, I wrote the brief synopsis, which is why it's pretty basic and not very good. I give you your starring cast, director, runtime of the cut I am watching, along with a link for a trailer and a link for where you can purchase this bad boy. So it's got a lot of stuff going on in the info box. So check that out. Now that I got all that said in mind, all that out of the way, let's roll on to the film of the day. And today's is a very interesting one. It's another one from our dear friend Juvol Marlon, who I have really grown to respect and admire his film work. I think his stuff is really good. Now this one, I wrote 2025 as the release date. I don't know if they were going with 2024 or 2025. I'm not 100%. So I just wrote the 2025. Now this is starring, please forgive me if I murder any of your names, Jorg Wischnauski, Rene, Wiesner, Anatasia, Tschikatilo, Amira, Soli, Klammer, and Thomas Goersch. And this is directed by Juvol Marlon, who, like I said, I've just grown to be a huge fan of his. It started all the way out from assault rifle all the way to this one. I think the guy has really niched out, carved out a really good style of filmmaking. He's very much advanced from what he did with Assault Rifle or Perverted Desires, which both of those aren't bad by any means. This is just a huge step above of his other work. It's a documentary on him. It's directed by him. It's basically it talks about all the ups and the downs of filmmaking, and then how some actors are very devoted to the actual craft, that they injure and cut and bruise themselves on purpose to get the full effect, and it's really it's kind of crazy, but I really like the idea of method acting. I think it's the best way to go if you're going to be an actor, at least if you're going to be a seriously taken seriously type of actor. Now we got Thomas Goersch in here, and he gives little stories. And they kind of tie in his character with the Perverted Desires short story at the end of this. There's two short stories, Perverted Desires, and then I forget what the other one was. It was highly sexualized. That's all I remember. Which this movie is highly sexualized. You got some necrophilia stuff going on there with a girl who is masturbating with bones, and it's quite interesting. Eventually, in comes the trademark Juvol Marlon assault rifle, and she messes around with the assault rifle. Very, very common to see in his films. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen so many assault rifles. It's just bonkers, you know. Now, and then we got Marco Klammer in there. Rest in peace. He's talking about his whole experiences with Juval and the films that they worked on together. It's really interesting to get a glimpse into his last few days of his life. His flat that he had was just an absolute disaster. He's got mannequin heads everywhere, which the mannequin heads he does sexualized content with them. It's definitely not one you want to watch with your mom or your grandmother or your children. This is one you watch either by yourself or with a spouse. Hopefully the spouse has a twisted sense of humor like we all do in Matt's Movie Mania land. But anyways, let's move on to the three things that I love my movies to mean. First is audio. The audio does get a little messy in places. I mostly blame that on outside interference and they're walking at the same time. So it's not going to sound as good or effective as if you were inside a closed studio. So there are some bumpy spots in it, but it didn't affect the overall vibe, in my opinion. I feel like everything was done really well. Everybody has a part in it, and they play their part very well. Granted, they're not playing a part; they're playing reality. But onto that audio, I'm only going to give it a B. It's not the best. Juval's done better work with its sound. But let's move on to the dialogue. The dialogue, it took me a minute to get subtitles to work on Google Drive, but I eventually had to download the VLC player and work it off there. So we got the subtitles in. Yes. So I knew what the hell I was watching. So the dialogue is interesting. It's raw and intense in places. Really gives you a insider's perspective of filmmaking in I believe this one's set in Switzerland, or maybe it is Germany. I know that they are speaking German throughout a good portion of it, but for some reason I think I read somewhere that this was made in Switzerland. If it's not, I'm sorry for that mistake. But it's really good dialogue. So I'm going to give it an A on that. And then third and final is the editing. The editing is very, very well done in this. The stories have great pacing. They don't give away too much of the goodies right away. They make you actually watch the film and work for it, and I really like that. I like my films to have a deeper, higher meaning, and this one definitely is one of those. So I'm going to give it an A plus on editing, just because it just feels so smooth and it's like a baby's bottom. It's just so smooth. Anyways, on to my final score of 1 through 5. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. It's really damn good movie, or film, I should say. If you get the opportunity to check it out, do check it out, along with other Juvol Marlon films. You will not be disappointed. On that end, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I'll be back at you next week with a couple of reviews. that I have scheduled up, so that's cool. And as always, peace and love your faces.